All right, so the general format we've seen for calling these functions, whether it's a print function or some of these other things, the general format for these things for calling functions and saving the results to a new variable is this, right? New variable equals the function name and then whatever the input is. Okay? So when you are converting the account balance to a string, the function that we've already seen is simply this. Account balance is equal to 1500. Whoops. Now we want to name a new variable is equal to the function str and then the input account balance. Right? And that's what we've seen already. So here's our input, and now we want to change it. And we've seen that a couple of times. All right? So the new variable in this case is account balance string, the function string and the input in the parentheses account balance. There are other built-in functions other than bool, float, etc., etc. So here are some of the other built-in functions that you might be interested in using. ABS and then the input. That's going to return to you the absolute value of a number. So the input has got to be a number. Max argument 1, argument 2, on and on, right? So a string of numbers. What this is going to do is this is going to return the largest item of 2 or more arguments. Right? Another one's very handy is round. So it's going to be, we're going to have our input, well, in this case a number, round, whatever the number is, and then comma, the number of digits. Okay, and this is going to return the number rounded depending on how many digits you use, right? It's going to, that's what it's going to give you, right? So let's try this rounding thing. So let's define a variable. We'll define it as a, and we'll have the number be 384, 374. Okay, that's our number. So now let's create a rounded, and we just want to do simply round a, right? Round is the function, a is the input, and the new variable name is a rounded. So let's first of all put in a. You'll see a pop up here. It's a floating variable, size 1. Now let's do a rounded. That's our new variable. And it's going to round it to the integer, right? Well, what if I wanted it rounded to 2 decimal places? Well, let's do a1 rounded. And we'll put in round a, and we want to put in 2. Number of digits, right? Let's see what that one looks like. All right, A1 rounded gives me 2 digits. Well, what if I wanted this rounded to the hundreds? Well, let's do A2 rounded. That's going to equal round A And this time we'll do -2. And let's see what comes out of that. And you can see that rounds up to 400. If I wanted to round to the tenths, I go A3 rounded. And you can probably guess that it would be round A to -1 is going to be the code we'll put in here. And that's going to get me 380. So in this particular case, it gives me a different round, right? Without the number of digits identified. The rounding will be to an integer. +2 and -2 or 1 will round to 2 numbers after the decimal for a +2 and 2 numbers before the decimal for that -2, right? So the positive and negative signifies where you're going to be putting things, right? And you can see from our variable view what these things look like. So there's a little bit of some more information on functions.